Hello and welcome back to Prophetic Marriage Ministry. My name is Shannon and I am here to help push you into your kingdom marriage season. Y'all, just real quick, God laid this in my heart and I wanted to express this to you all. Please keep your prodigal marriage situation with your spouse a secret. Do not tell a bunch of people, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to discourage you. They're not going to understand. They're not going to see the vision, and they're not going to be on your side. And sometimes these are people who really care for you and really have your best interests at heart. And a lot of times they don't mean any harm, but they just don't know the vision that God gave you. They can't see the plan. They can't see the future that God gave you and this spouse. So don't go to your best friend if you know that she doesn't like him or she doesn't like her. If you're a man or a woman, I don't know which one, but I'm just saying, if you know that the situation between you and your prodigal spouse is not the best right now, it's not good to go and tell a bunch of people, because they could talk you right out of God's promise. And you do not want to be talked out of God's promise. You have to keep your mind on Jesus. Keep your mind on the promise. And if you do tell somebody, make sure it's somebody that understands, someone who is also standing with you. Okay. And if you trust this person, if they may not be standing for a marriage, if you truly, truly trust this person and you feel like you can tell them, then okay. But if you happen to tell somebody and they tell you something opposite of what you need to hear, because y'all, this is a very sensitive space to be in. It is a very sensitive space, and Satan and all the powers of darkness of hell does not want these unions to come together. So he will literally use and do anything. He will monitor you to see what's going on, what's happening, and use people who even care about you, who is close to you, to tell you, oh no, that's not going to happen. Oh no, that's not true. No, okay? You need to listen to God. And I would say, just to be safe, do not tell people about your prodigal marriage situation with your spouse, okay? If you need more clarity on what's going on if they really are your spouse, go to God. God is also teaching me in this season to hear his voice and know his voice, and stop asking for so many outside opinions, because if you can't discern God's voice, then how will you be effective in all your other ministries? If you're called to ministry, or if you're just in general, like not even just called to ministry, you have to hear God's voice and know it. Because if you don't, then you're going to be swayed by people's opinions and what people think you should do and all of this. And I'm not saying to avoid good advice, because sometimes people that we love, they give us advice based off of things that we may not be able to see, and it can really help us and be good wisdom. But when it comes to a prodigal marriage spouse situation, oftentimes you keep that between you and God. Keep it within the confounds of this community that I'm making right here on YouTube. And that's why I made this community, for you to make comments, for you to, feel free, feel not judged, to be standing for a spouse, because this is a very vulnerable place and you need to use your faith. You have to be very careful of allowing people to affect your faith when God is saying you need to have faith for this marriage promise to come to pass. So be wise in who you share this with. I prefer you share it with no one unless the Lord himself tells you who to share it with. But in these communities, like on my page, make a comment on here. I have my email in the description. You can always email me if you may have a question. But yeah, just continue to stand strong and do not give up on God, and do not give up on his promise, because this thing is coming to pass and it's not going to take as long as you think. Okay. And we're going to all be rejoicing when the Lord brings our spouses back to us. It's going to be a mighty beautiful reconciliation, and I can't wait to hear the testimonies, and I will most definitely share my testimony with y'all. Alrighty, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.